Good morning out there in socials. Welcome back to On the Level Leadership. I'm in my vehicle, so sorry for the background noise. If you can hear the air conditioning going, it's kind of hot out here this morning. It's going to be a bit of a different video this week because I want to take on an alarming trend I'm seeing online right now, especially when it comes to clients and client engagement and how leaders are showing up or not showing up. And that's the issue of ghosting. Hey, welcome back to On the Level Leadership this week. And I apologize, this is going to be vlog style. There's a bit of an echo because I'm in my car and you might hear some background noise from the air conditioning unit because it's really hot here today in Canada, believe it or not. So I went out this morning to meet with a colleague of mine, and unfortunately there was a mix up in our schedules and he wasn't able to join me. And although we've connected, so this is not about you, by the way, we've connected, but the reason for this video this week is because I have noticed a trend online with ghosting. I'm particularly bothered by this because it's like a form of cowardice, quite frankly, out there that I'm noticing more and more and more online. Now, it is obviously more obvious to me now because I'm in business. I'm in a coaching business. That's my practice now. And I meet with clients and I have client calls, and sometimes they're in person, sometimes they're on Zoom calls. But what I'm noticing is that when clients are not going to show up, rather than advising me that they're not showing up, they just don't show up. Or they'll commit to meeting with me at a certain time or a certain place, and then it's a no-show. They again, once again, don't show up. The worst part is that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you not showing up, and I'm even okay with a last minute not show up. I mean, it annoys the crap out of me that I've wasted my time and energy and sometimes fuel to get to something that I'm not going to have a meeting with. However, I'm okay with that as long as you're accountable for your behavior and you reach out to me and say, you know what, Tammy, I'm really, really sorry. Kind of like my friend did this morning, sorry. I thought it was tomorrow instead of today. Shit happens. Life happens. And that's perfectly fine. And we're good. But there are a lot of situations I've had, dozens actually, over the last 6 months, where people not only not show up for the coaching call they've agreed to, they don't even reply to anything afterwards. They completely ignore my emails or my prompts or my calls. And I don't harass you because I couldn't be bothered to do that, first of all. But secondly, if I reach out to you, it's because I'm making it clear to you that I'm writing you off. Right. So, because if you don't show up to a meeting, I get life happens. I get that we're busy. I get that it gets in the way of our lives. But you have to have the common courtesy to show up and be accountable for not showing up. Call me or text me or send me a LinkedIn post or a DM or whatever and say, look, my circumstances have changed, or I don't want to participate in this, or I've changed my mind, or can we reschedule? Something's come up. Or, you know what? I completely forgot. I didn't realize. I'm really sorry. Can we reschedule? Something, anything. Because the idea of just ghosting people in my mind is completely cowardly. Because here's the thing. So when you're meeting with somebody like a consultant, like if you're your accountant or you're a lawyer or what have you, here's the reality with those guys is that if you have an agreement with a law office and you don't show up to a meeting, they're still charging you $250 for that meeting. So you better show up. And you're going to be very clear that you're going to tell them that you need to reschedule so you don't pay for that no-show. And unfortunately, most coaches and other consultants don't do this. They don't charge up front because they don't have an agreement in place with you sometimes. And it's just about having a conversation. I would say that if you're going to be a leader, and you're especially working with me, you are a leader because that's why you're coming to me, because you want to improve your leadership skills. If you are a leader and you don't show up and you're not accountable, you have just lost credibility. You've lost credibility. And you've lost respect from one person. But if you do this regularly, and by the way, I have had managers who did this. I had managers who would book meetings with me, bilats, and then they wouldn't show up. It's a complete insult that I've wasted my time and coming in and preparing for this meeting and showing up, and then you not having the courtesy to at least let me know in advance that you're not going to be there, or not showing up and then not even apologizing for it later. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's an online trend I'm seeing more and more of. It's concerning because to me, it's indicative of our inability to communicate in a way that's effective. And as a leader, our number one thing is to be communicative. And I'm highly communicative. Like if I don't show, was supposed to actually meet with my financial advisor this morning. But I asked this morning, actually sent a message yesterday, and I asked again this morning, sorry for the delay, but we have to reschedule because I had this other meeting I was going to that was out of my house, and I have other things planned before this financial meeting, and I thought it's going to be too tight. Out of courtesy to my financial planner, I sent him a note and said, can we reschedule this to another time? Because I really want to respect your time. I don't want to waste it, and I might be running late for this meeting. So we rescheduled it because that's what being accountable and being credible is all about. I want you to look at your behaviors. When somebody reaches out to you, or you agree to have a meeting or a call with somebody, are you just not showing up? Are you ignoring their email messages after because you are embarrassed that you missed the meeting, or you have some kind of shame associated with it, or you don't want to be sold something, or whatever the case may be? At least have the courtesy to say, sorry, I'm not interested anymore, or I have to plan this for later, or times have changed, or my life has changed, or my circumstances have changed, or my schedule has changed, or something's come up. Have the courtesy to give us a heads up because for us coaches, especially, I'm going to speak from a coaching perspective. If we're meeting with you as a client to do a coaching call and you don't show up, what you don't realize is that in the back end, us coaches, we prepare for that. It's not just about meeting with you for an hour. A lot of us coaches like to do a bit of reading. Some of us meditate to kind of get ourselves in the headspace that we need to so we can be fully there for you. But also sometimes as a leadership coach, I'll look up articles or try to find information that might be helpful to you to help you grow as a leader. So I'm doing research based on your particular problem, and I'm spending time doing that in advance of our meeting. Or maybe I'm planning the strategy call so that we can really make sure we come away with some tangible outputs or outcomes. There's planning in that. And if I don't have to do that planning because you don't plan on showing up, then please just have the courtesy to let me know. So that's my rant this week. For the person who was going to meet me this morning, we're good. This is not about you, but it did make me think about all of the other situations or incidents I've had over the coming weeks, or the last few months actually, where I've been ghosted on a number of occasions. It's kind of frustrating because all I want to do is be in service. If you do that to me once as a client, I don't want to work with you. So don't even bother coming back. If you're going to ghost me and then 6 months later show up and say, now I'm ready, I'm sorry, you've lost my trust and my ability to want to work with you. You've completely eliminated yourself as an opportunity for me as a client. I really don't need clients who are going to be disrespectful of my time. It's just that simple, because I would never do that to my clients. Anyway, just want to challenge you all to really assess your behaviors because leadership is all about modeling the way, being present, being accountable, having responsibility, and building your credibility. And when you ghost somebody, you are not doing that, and you are not demonstrating proper leadership. So if you want to treat your staff and your clients, your coaches, your consultants properly, then show up. And if you can't, say so. So thanks again for being here this week. I know that this was a little bit of an inflammatory sort of rant for me this week, but I just wanted to raise this issue because I feel like it's becoming more and more and more of a problem. And I just want to kind of ask you all as leaders to really check yourself, check your behavior, check how you're showing up, because it really matters. Because if you lose the trust of one person, that one person can talk to 10, 20, 30 people or more. You can lose business. You can lose respect. You can lose the ability to be trusted. You can lose credibility with your leadership chain. Really show up and be respectful of other people's time. So I am here every week talking about leadership and career growth content. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, I hope that you're all doing really well out there. Do take care. I'll see you next week.